Our solar system.
Our solar system.
Have you ever looked up into the sky and wondered what was there?
Have you even looked up into the sky and wondered what's there?
Higher than the birds, past the clouds, and farther than the moon, a whole
Higher than the birds, past the clouds, and farther than the moon.
whole host of fascinating objects spin in outer space.
A whole host of fascinating objects spin in outer space.
Let's imagine for a moment that we can
Let's
leave the Earth behind.
Let's imagine for a moment that we can leave the Earth behind
and explore the solar system that surrounds it.
and explore the solar systems that surround it.
We call it the solar system because everything in it is centered around the sun. And
we call it the solar system because everything in it is centered around the sun.
Solar means something
And
to do with
solar
the sun.
Means something to do with the sun.
The sun is a star, just like many of the stars that you can see
The sun is a star, just like many of the stars
in the night sky, just
that you can see in the night sky.
many times closer to us.
Just many times closest to us.
Still, the sun is very, very far away from the Earth.
Still, the sun is very, very far away from the Earth.
Almost 93 million miles away.
Almost 93 million miles away.
That's why it looks so small,
That's why it looks so small.
even though it's the biggest object in the solar system.
Even though it's the biggest object in the solar system.
In fact,
In
the
fact,
sun makes up more than 99% of the mass in the solar system.
the stars make up more than 99% of the mass in the solar system.
If you put all of the planets,
If you put all the planets,
moons, asteroids,
moon, asteroids,
comets, and everything else in the solar system together,
comets, and everything else in the solar system together,
they would make up less than
they would make up less than
1/4%
quarter of the surface of
of
it.
it. The sun is so big that it's more than 100 times wider than the Earth.
The sun is so big that is more than 100 times wider than the Earth.
And if it were a giant jar, you could fit more than 1 million Earths into it.
If it were a giant jar, you could fit more than 1 million Earths into it.
More than that, the sun is what holds the solar system together.
More than math, the sun is what holds the solar system together.
Its massive gravity
Its massive
is
gravity
what keeps the Earth and all the other planets circling around it instead of
it just keeps the Earth and all the planets swirling around its instead
drifting off into space.
drifting off into space.
The sun is also what allows us to live on Earth.
The sun is also what allows us to live on Earth.
Without the sun, there would be no heat. There would be no light.
Without the sun, there would be no heat. There would be no light.
Plants could not grow. Water would freeze, and nothing could survive.
Plants could not grow. Water could freeze. If nothing could survive.
The sun gives us heat and light because it is always burning.
The sun gives us heat and light because It is away burning. It is again.
It is a giant ball of gas, mostly
gas.
hydrogen and helium, and it burns at millions of degrees in its center.
Molecules, hydrogen and helium. It has burned as millions of degrees in its center.
Let's leave the sun now to explore the planet.
Let's leave the sun now to explore the planets.
As we move away from the sun,
the
first planet we will encounter is Mercury.
The first planet we will encounter is Mercury.
Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system.
Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system.
Much smaller than Earth.
Much smaller than Earth.
And one of only 5 planets.
And one of only 5 planets
you can see from Earth using nothing but your eyes.
You can see from Earth nothing but your eyes.
Of course, it won't look much like a planet.
Of course, it won't look much like a planet.
It looks more like a bright star.
It looks more like a bright star.
And many nights you can see it close to the horizon near sunrise and sunset.
And many nights you can see it close your horizons near sunrise and sunset.
Mercury is a lot like our moon.
Mercury is a lot like a moon.
It's small and has a rocky surface.
It's small and has a rocky surface
with craters on it. It has no moon of its own.
It has no moon on it.
And no air to breathe. You probably wouldn't enjoy a visit to Mercury.
You probably couldn't enjoy a visit to Mercury.
Since temperatures are boiling hot in the sun.
Temperatures is boiling hot in the sun.
And freezing cold in the shade. Something interesting about Mercury is that it is the fastest planet to go around the sun.
Something interesting about Mercury is that it is the fastest planet to go around the sun.
It only takes 88 days. Next is Venus, the second planet. Some people call Venus Earth's sister.
Next is Venus, the second planet. Some people call Venus Earth's sister.
Because the 2 planets are very close in size and gravity.
Because the 2 planets are very close in size and gravity.
But they are very different on the surface.
But they are very different as to surface.
First of all, it is very hot. Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system.
First of all, it's very hot. Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system.
It's not as close to the sun as Mercury.
It's not as close to the sun as Mercury.
But its thick atmosphere of carbon dioxide helps it to trap the
But its thick atmosphere of carbon dioxide helps it to trap
and stay warmer than its neighbor.
The heat and stay warmer than its neighbor.
It has a thick atmosphere, but it is not one you could breathe.
It has a thick atmosphere, but it is not one you could breathe.
It is mostly made of carbon dioxide.
Its osmosis made of carbon dioxide.